Some breaking news coming in. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau speaking right now after the U.S. slapped Canada with...
We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes.
We engaged closely and constructively with the President and his...
Relations between Canada and the United States, which have been built on a strong economic partnership for many years, are now being seriously tested. In response to the Donald Trump administration's 25% tariffs on steel and auto imports, Ottawa responded with symmetrical measures, imposing similar tariffs on U.S. goods worth a total of $155 billion. The trade dispute between the two countries began after Washington announced the introduction of protective tariffs on a number of Canadian goods, citing national security concerns. Canada did not wait long and announced the first stage of retaliatory measures, a 25% tariff on imports of American products worth 30 billion Canadian dollars. Now, if the situation does not change, a second round of sanctions will be introduced within the next 3 weeks, this time for $125 billion. But what exactly will be affected by these new tariffs? This time, the largest American industries are hit: automotive industry, including Tesla, Ford, and GM, energy sector, oil, gas, electricity, metallurgy, steel, and aluminum. This trade conflict is hurting not only corporations, but also ordinary citizens. Higher tariffs mean higher prices, fewer jobs, and potentially less investment. For example, U.S. car manufacturing is heavily tied to Canadian supplies. Parts used to assemble cars cross the border several times before reaching the market. New tariffs make production more expensive, which will inevitably affect the cost of the final product. What is the position of the new Canadian Prime Minister? The recent change of power in Canada has brought new nuances to the negotiating process. The new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has made it clear that he does not intend to make concessions without reciprocal steps from Washington. Moreover, he emphasized that Canada is no longer going to negotiate from a position of weakness. What are the implications for American companies? Major automakers like Ford and GM could see their sales in Canada plummet. Tesla will also be under pressure. The Canadian market is an important sales point for the company, and new tariffs will make cars significantly more expensive. In addition, Ontario took an unexpected retaliatory step, a 25% tax on electricity exports to the United States. Ontario Premier Doug Ford even threatened to block supplies entirely if the situation escalated. This caused serious concern in the White House, since electricity from Canada plays a key role in the energy supply of several American states.
Ford is focused on Donald Trump.
Canada will never be the 51st state. Canada is not for sale.
The escalating trade war has already begun to impact financial markets. The Canadian dollar has weakened, stock indices are falling, and the Bank of Canada has warned that further conflict could reduce the country's GDP by 3% over the next 2 years. To reduce its dependence on the American market, Ottawa is actively expanding trade ties with other countries, especially in the Asia-Pacific region. Under the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, Canada is already strengthening cooperation with Japan, Australia, and Vietnam. In addition, the Carney government is launching a number of measures to support national businesses.
We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
How will the situation develop? The question remains open. Either the U.S. and Canada will reach a compromise, or the trade war will escalate into a protracted conflict that will harm both sides. Do you think Canada will be able to withstand the pressure from the U.S., or will it give in to this confrontation? Share your opinion in the comments.